In this chapter, we're going to talk about preparing for your first sourcing trip. Above all, sourcing for your Amazon business is about building relationships, whether it's with vendors at flea markets or yard sales or people at thrift stores or even the management at retail stores like Walmart. Most people think that you can't negotiate, but we've negotiated pricing mainly on clearance items on many occasions with plenty of different chains, whether it's Walmart or CVS or Walgreens or many other chains. Once the items hit the clearance, they're really motivated to move them. They basically are viewing it as a loss, so as quick as they can make room for more better selling products, the better off they are. And as far as their books go, the management is still going to have those prices as sales. So you always want to look into striking up conversations and building better relationships with all of these management of these stores. So it's always good to be nice, to be cordial, to talk to the people there. Don't act like you're hiding something. Don't act like you have something to hide, and don't be afraid to talk. Now we're going to talk about a few of the different sourcing places, and it depends on how much money you have to invest to begin with, but there's many different places that you can source at. Amazon has a very low barrier to entry. You can run your business from anywhere. You can source online, or you can source in stores, in retail stores, or liquidation outlets. If you don't have a lot of money to start with, you can start at places like book sales, thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales, flea markets. We started our business this way, and you can buy items for a dime or a quarter or a dollar that could possibly sell from $50 to $100. We bought several books for under $1 that we've sold for as much as $500 to $700. They're few and far between, but those deals are out there. You just have to put in the time and effort to go out and find them. The problems with low-cost inventory at these types of places are you usually are only going to find one of each item. If you find an old book or a collectible book or even a collectible toy that's new at a yard sale or a thrift store, you're only going to find one of that product. While on the other hand, if you're sourcing at retail outlets or liquidation or discount clubs or any mainstream stores, you could buy many of these items. You might be able to find dozens at a single store, and if you find it at one store, you can go to many different stores in the chain to find more of the same product. So you might be able to find hundreds of an item if you're doing retail sourcing. There's many different options for doing retail arbitrage or retail sourcing. You can look at retail stores. There's retail liquidation stores, which is what I wrote my book about. And those are the kind of stores that they take the items off the shelf instead of sending them to something like the clearance section or throwing them away. They'll pull them off and they'll sell them to a liquidation company, and then they will in turn sell them to a liquidation store, which will just take pallets of goods and put them on the shelf and sell them, and most of them are still good in date if it's an item that expires. There's also closeout and discount clubs like Sam's, BJ's, Costco, pharmacies, and grocery stores. We regularly source at all of these stores. You always need to be prepared to scan wherever you're at. No matter if it's a yard sale or a thrift store or any store you're at, if it's an item you've never seen before, never thought of, always be prepared to have, some kind of device for scanning, whether, it's your phone or a tablet, an iPhone. Always have it ready to scan something you've never seen before, because just because you haven't seen it, that means it might not be in great demand in retail, but it's still being sold on Amazon. If you don't see it a lot, maybe other sellers aren't as well. You always want to double your money. So when you scan the item, you want to look at what you're going to get after all the fees are taken out, which all the apps will show you. You want to be able to double your money. So whatever you're making after the fees, you want that to be at least double whatever it costs. Now, if you do decide to source for books and media, a lot of the pros of doing that is a high margin. As I said, we can buy items for, books and media items usually are under $2. Sometimes they're under $1. Buy it for $1, and many of them you can sell for around $10, some $20, $30, $50. There's really no limit on how high some of the more rare media items are. It's a low cost, it's a low barrier to entry. You can fill a whole shopping cart up at a thrift store full of books and media for only $20 or $30. Some of the problems with it, some of the cons are that it's the most competitive category on Amazon. There are probably hundreds of thousands of other sellers out there that are strictly books and media that have not expanded into all the other categories that we're going to sell on, like toys and grocery and health and personal care. You have limited places because if you're not in a big city, there might not be thrift stores or yard sales, or you might not be in an area that people are having yard and garage sales or any kind of outside sales except for a small portion of the year. And if you're going to book sales are only on certain days. There's many book sales out there, but any one place is only having a book sale maybe once every few months. It's a lot more work. You're only going to find one of each item at a time. As I said before, you're not going to find 30 or 50 of an item like you would at a retail store. So you have to weigh all these things. But if you only have a little bit of money to spend, sourcing at these lower cost places is definitely the way to go. Now with retail, you can definitely buy in big volume. You can buy 50 or 100 of an item without a lot of trouble. You only have to list it once, print the labels, and put them all on it. And it's very quick. Listing 100 books is going to take considerably a lot more time. You can find the same product at many locations. If you find an item at one Walmart, you can go to every Walmart in your area. I have about 10 Walmarts within a half-hour driving distance of my location. I can find a product at one of them, and I can either send my employees or go myself and buy that same product at all of those locations. And most Walmarts are now open 24 hours, and the same with Target and some other chains as well. It's not as competitive. A lot of people haven't moved from the books and media category over to retail. And of course, it's a lot easier to list many of the same items, list multiples of one item and print all the labels at one time. And it's easy to replenish. When you sell out of them, you can go back and buy more. If you buy a rare book at a book sale, you may never find that book again. And there's plenty of opportunities to create listings with no competition. You find a new product, a new grocery or a personal care item, or a new toy that's exclusive to somewhere, you can buy that item and you can create your own listing. And you'll have no competition until somebody else finds your listing and finds that product. So there's a lot of great opportunities in retail. Now, of course, there are some cons as well to shopping at retail. You're going to have much lower margins. You're never going to find a dollar item that may sell for $50 or $100 at a retail location. So you'll have lower margins, but we can easily make 2 to 3 times our money back. You have higher product and inventory cost, of course, because you may be paying $20 or $30 for a single item instead of $1. And a lot of people view it as a lot more risk because there's a much larger inventory cost. Now, when you get to the store, you always want to start at the clearance section. You can have cheaper prices, seasonal items, a lot of maybe older or discontinued items are going to be found in the clearance. And those is where you're going to be able to make deals with managers, store supervisors. The clearance section is a great way to start. Don't get stuck there. A lot of sellers just go from store to store looking at the clearance, but our business model, we shop at the whole store. Most of the items we buy are at full retail price. It just takes work. You have to scan and scan and scan. We have employees that scan for hours and hours every day of the week. The items are all there. You just have to look for them. Don't just stay at Walmart and Target or Kmart or whatever your main stores are in your area. Look at stores that you don't normally think of. Look at places like Kohl's, TJ Maxx, Burlington Coat Factory, Big Lots, Ross, Walgreens, Marshall, Dollar Tree, the dollar stores. We do great at all of these locations. Exclusive products are also great too. Places like Toys R Us, Target, Walmart, and Hot Topic all regularly have exclusives on toys, and not everyone lives near these stores. If a buyer doesn't live near a store, they have to buy the item online if it's an exclusive. There's many collectors who are trying to get complete collections of certain toy lines, and if they don't live by that store or they're already sold out, then they have to buy it online somewhere. So it might as well be from us. Amazon buyers prefer to buy from Amazon. So if they see a commercial or a website about something, they're just going to go to Amazon and they're going to buy it. And you're not going to have to compete. You'll never have to compete with Amazon if Toys R Us has an exclusive on an item, because it's an exclusive to that store, and Amazon won't be able to buy it directly. They may have their own exclusive, but they're not going to have the same exclusive you are, and it's going to have long-term value. So you can buy and hold these items, or if they don't sell for what you want, at some point in the future they are going to sell, and they're going to sell for a lot. Now, store brands are another great opportunity. Some store brands are good. Items like Sears Craftsman, which is also now sold at Kmart, those are the only places you can buy them. You really want to look into it. If it's already a good seller on Amazon, then there's no reason not to be sourcing these products. But a lot of store brands are not good sellers. For grocery and beauty and health and personal care items, great value at Walmart, and most major stores have their own store brand. We usually avoid those items because they're just not great sellers. There's a rare occurrence where if the name brand is sold out and maybe discontinued, or there's some kind of shortage, then possibly the store brand version. Something like this happened with X-Lax. We were selling X-Lax. The extra strength version had gone up to about $80 a box at one point. So the Walmart brands were selling for about $25, but this is a very rare occurrence. We usually like to avoid items that are store brands. And you want to avoid items that all stores are going to have in stock all the time. So if you see a hot new toy that's in Toys R Us's Hot Toy Christmas list, for example, and Walmart and Target always have them and they always have them in stock, then Amazon's probably going to be selling them themselves. And that's usually something you want to avoid. Selling on Amazon is mostly about inconsistencies in the market. So prices are going to go up from $20 to $50 or $100 on Amazon if people can't buy them in the store. But if you can buy them in any store and Amazon's also selling them, then you're never going to get your price. So you want items that are popular, but you don't want items that are too popular, or they're never going to get to sell for the price you want. You want to look for items that you've never heard of. Look for regional items. We do great with spices and sauces and marinades and dressings. A lot of these items are only sold in certain regions, and you don't know if it's a good seller unless you go there and scan it. We also read the labels and look for items that may be made in your area. If you live in the South or live in Texas, there might be a lot of pickled items or a lot of spices, or there's coffees that are only marketed in certain areas, and spices that are only marketed in certain areas. So we read the labels and see where they're manufactured. If it's manufactured in your area, it might be a great product for you to look into. And don't be afraid to go to where your competition is afraid to go. So if you have stores that are in less desirable areas, then it's quite possible that your competition is afraid to go source at those stores. If you can go to those stores, they're going to have sales, they're going to have better clearance deals, and they're going to be available to you items that aren't available to other sellers. They're afraid to go to those areas, and you get in there, you might be able to make deals. They might have plenty of extra inventory. They might have things that are sold out in other areas. We've done extremely well in these kind of locations.